This is the plaintiff, Lee Salisbury. He says he rented a room in the defendant's apartment, and things went from bad to worse, so he was forced to move out. The defendant made up all these lies about him. He was served with a domestic violence order of protection, which he had to fight in court, and this woman owes him $3,050, the amount he's suing for today. This is the defendant, Janae. She says the plaintiff is the slob of all slobs who never cleaned up after himself. He also tried to put his hands on her, so she went to court seeking an order of protection against the lunatic. Bottom line, he broke their agreement, moved out early, and is owed nothing. She's accused of being a rotten renter.
All parties, please raise your right hand. Be seated, come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Okay, Mr. Salisbury.
Oh, yes, miss.
So you rented a room in Janae's apartment, and the deal was that you were going to be living with Janae and her partner. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. What went wrong?
So I moved in the beginning of June of this year. Things were fine for the first couple of weeks. Going forward, about midway through June, after I had already paid rent
For July.
things stopped being so friendly, stopped communicating with me.
Well, what went wrong?
I'm not sure.
Okay, let me ask you then. What went wrong?
I would say there was no cleaning. He had a German Husky Shepherd that showed.
But you knew that going in, that he was bringing a dog in?
Yeah, I just didn't know that he wasn't going to clean because he said that he was.
Okay.
And he had bugged out one night. He was high off of edibles, and he accused me of calling the cops on him, and he looked like he...
What? Okay, wait. So, everybody stop. Did you call the cops on him?
No, not at all. He was
Okay.
just high.
All right. Who is the person with you? Is that
My
the
girlfriend.
Okay, come on up, girlfriend. What's your name?
I'm Kimberly.
Kimberly.
Yes, ma'am.
Were you there that night that she's talking about?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that the only thing that had gone wrong between you guys?
Yes.
Were you surprised when he decided he didn't want to keep living there? Or did you see it coming because things were tense?
I was surprised because the night that he was high off edibles, accusing me of calling the cops on him. We talked. My girlfriend actually talked to him when he calmed down, and he was like, "Oh, if it was just about cleaning, then we can just get a whiteboard and assign tasks." And he was like, "Oh, okay, cool." And then we woke up, and then all his things are gone.
Okay. And according to you, that's not how it happened. According
no.
to you, what?
So the night in question that she's talking about, the defendant came into the kitchen and started screaming at me for leaving my bedroom light on. And I said I didn't want to come in pitch blackness. And, I was only gone for a few minutes. I use energy-saving bulbs. I'm not using that much energy. I don't think it's that big of a deal. And she said, well, can't you use the flashlight on your phone? And I said, no, because I have my hands full of groceries. I'm not going to use a flashlight on my phone, walk in, trip over things. No, we're not doing all that. That's when she said, well, we're going to have a talk with Veronica tomorrow. Veronica was her mother, or is her mother. She's the other person on the lease who did not live there. I never met her up to that point. At that point, I was trying to figure out what we were going to have a talk about. I was supposed to leave for vacation the next day. That's when she started screaming, "Stop attacking me, stop attacking me, stop attacking me," at the top of her lungs. This made me uncomfortable. The girlfriend and I...
Well, wait, back it up. Verbally attacking her or physically attacking her? What was she saying?
She was saying, "Stop attacking me." Mind you, I am...
Okay, what were you saying, "Stop attacking me" for?
He kept saying, like, I can get my now, you like that. And I was just
How's that attacking you?
Verbally, like, attacking me, basically saying...
By saying, "I'm going to move out now"?
He was just cursing at me, and I don't like that. And it just wasn't respectful. And I didn't approach him any disrespectful.
In any event, were the police called that night?
No,
So,
ma'am.
no.
All right, so you end up moving out that night.
No. So I took the dog for the walk. We left the house to give her time to cool off. We come back in. That's when the cop kind of like drove by, slowed down as we were walking into the house. That's why I thought the cops were called.
Were you high on edibles?
Huh?
Were you high on edibles?
No.
Okay.
No.
Had you taken edibles?
Probably like earlier in the day. We were at a
Okay.
convention.
All right.
But I was no longer under the.
Of course, you were at a convention. Who among us doesn't always load up on edibles at conventions?
Right.
All right.
Yeah, but anyways, so these.
Was it an edible convention? Like, what makes that so? Yeah, of course we were at a convention.
It was a horror convention.
All right, listen. All right, let's just stop. Let's focus here. You decide to move out that night, right?
Well, I decided after her girlfriend came out, because I could not figure out what the issue was from Janae, or the defendant. Her girlfriend was the one that came out and said, hey, we don't think you're doing enough of the cleaning around here. That's what the whole issue is. And I was like, okay, well.
Had that not been discussed with you prior to that already?
No, because I felt like I was doing my share of the cleaning. It
had not been discussed with you until that point?
No.
All right.
No.
So
up to that point, I didn't believe.
Did you or did you not move out that night? Yes or no?
No, I did not move out that night.
What night did you move out?
I moved out the next morning.
All right. When you moved out the next morning, you take all your stuff and you leave a note?
No,
you send them a text?
No, they were at the apartment as I was moving out. I told them what the final deciding factor was she brought race into the issue that did not need to be there.
She brought what?
Race into the issue.
How did she bring race into the issue?
Well, after her girlfriend explained to me what the issue was, and I gave them the solution, which was a pretty simple solution.
Meaning what? Have a whiteboard and chores and
I get home early every day.
Yeah.
All
right. Yeah. Okay.
All right. So, and that's when the defendant said, I don't know if you know this, but my black ancestors cleaned for your white ancestors, and I don't feel like I have to do this anymore.
Okay.
And at that point, I was just over this. Like, we don't need to bring race into
Janae, did you say that?
I did.
Yeah. What was your name again? Kimberly? When she said that, what did you do?
To be honest, I don't believe I was asleep when they had the initial argument.
All right. So maybe not conducive to being able to live peacefully together. But in any event, what happens is you leave, you ask for July rent back.
Oh, yeah.
And they do not give it to you. And not only that, they also don't give you the security deposit. Now, you get sued by your mom,
yep,
who is also on the lease that you two have.
Yep.
And what she does is she goes to court and she sues for all of the prospective rent because, according to her, you had breached the lease.
Right.
And what happens in that case?
I beat that.
Now, what does I beat that mean?
The judge ruled that as soon as I moved out, they were under every obligation to move another person into that room to make up that income.
Okay. Do you have the judge's order from that case? Let me see it. Did you, in that case, ask for July and security deposit back?
I did not know I could do. I've never been to court before.
Okay.
I don't deal with this stuff.
So he's suing for July rent back, and you say he's not entitled to it because he didn't give you notice? I mean, because he left like the same day.
Because he just breached the lease, and also he's responsible. When his name was on the lease, he was responsible just like all the other parties that was responsible for that portion of rent. And once rent is paid, it's paid.
Okay, so your feeling was that nothing that happened between you was sufficiently agreed. See, the only way he'd be able to get out of a lease and not have to keep paying at least, with enough time for you to mitigate your damages, which is what that judge said. Every defendant has a duty to mitigate their damages. In other words, you can't sit back, put your feet up on the table, and say, I hereby sue you for 8 months, and not try to get another roommate. You have to try. So most judges will end up giving you a month, 2 months, and then say, you could have gotten another roommate. At this point, we're going to stop the hemorrhaging. That's called the duty of the defendant to mitigate their damages, to stop the hemorrhaging.
And he wanted to
now,
come
hold
back.
on, I'm still in the middle of something. So that's one thing. But another thing is, if you make a situation so intolerable that it is effectively, you've made the place uninhabitable by whatever you are doing to him, the argument or the tension between you so bad, then he also doesn't have to stay there. So I take it that you are saying to me, Judge, it wasn't that bad.
No, it wasn't.
Welcome back to People's Court. Harvey 11 here. So if two people are living together and they are butting heads, cannot get along, can one of them leave and not be considered to have broken the lease? What do you say?
I feel like they should leave. Like, they should have to deal with that.
Well, okay, they can leave. Now the question is, are they still on the hook for the rent if they signed a lease, if it's an impossible living situation?
Then yeah, I would say leave, and you should get your deposit back.
Should not.
Oh, you should.
Should. What do you say, ma'am?
No.
Why? You just want to say no?
No.
Okay, no. Going inside the courtroom.
So, 2 weeks into July, which you've paid the rent for, they have not returned, or she has not returned the money.
Right.
And you say, you communicate, I guess through text,
Oh, yeah. So now
that
I'm
you're
living out
sick
of my
and tired
car.
of living out of your car.
Yeah.
And that if you're
July.
paying July, I'd like back in.
Right.
Right.
So, yeah. It's.
And what happens?
So I texted her that, and a couple hours later, like later in the day, a sheriff shows up at my work and serves me with a domestic violence order of protection.
Really?
From this. From
Can
the
I see
defendant.
that?
I don't
Yeah.
have that.
I have that.
Can I see it?
Yeah.
Okay, what you've handed me are the summons. They're not the actual
that's not
decision of the
I
judge.
never got-
Stop. Let me talk.
Sorry.
I had asked you earlier for the judgment in the case where the mother sued you. Do you have the judgment? These are just the things that start the lawsuit.
No, I do not have that. I did not get
Yeah,
any
that's the part
paperwork.
where I don't want to take your word for what the judge said. But you know that your mother lost that case, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You went out and got a restraining order for domestic violence against him based on what?
They said it had to be under that because he kept calling me, and all the messages that I had with him are deleted because I got another phone. My phone cracked. He kept calling me and texting me, I'm coming back. I even have this email.
Wait, I'm sorry. How is that a domestic violence injunction? You charge a guy rent, and he wants to be able to use what you charged him.
I mean, it's not like I was saying he put his hands on me, and it wasn't for me to say a domestic violence. It was basically I tried to get. He kept calling me and texting me, saying he was coming back.
Yeah, he wanted to get a key to get back into the place that he was paying rent for.
Yes, ma'am.
Did he say or do anything other than say, I want to get back into the place I pay? Did he threaten you?
My thing is, if you leave, the officer told me, I went to the police department, that if he left, that he could not come back.
Yeah, guess what? Wrong.
Okay.
See, here's the thing. If it was so bad that he can't be let back in, then it was so bad that you have to return July rent. You can't have it both ways. You say, I don't know what happened. It wasn't that bad. We could have worked it out. And then when the guy wants to come back in, you go, it was awful. I can't have him back in here. In fact, I got to get a domestic violence injunction against him. That's a little off, don't you think? What did you say in the domestic violence? And by the way, what happened with this?
Oh, that got dismissed.
I just didn't want him to come back into the home.
Yeah, I know you didn't. But you also want to keep July rent. See, here's the thing, guys. In life, we make decisions that are good for us. Like when he turns around and says, I don't want to live here. That's a great decision. But guess what, pal? You're in the middle of a lease. So sometimes the best decisions that we make, put your hand down and listen to me. Sometimes the best decisions that we make cost us, not someone else. So in the end of June, I would have let her keep July, because you need at least a month to find another roommate. I would have let her keep July. And now, let me talk to you.
Yes, ma'am.
All right? Because sometimes we make decisions that are in our best interest. You were uncomfortable about it. You don't want to let him back in. That's hunky-dory. But guess what, pal? You charged him for July. So if you want to make that decision, which is the decision I would have advised you to make as your mother or friend, I would have said to you, know what, give him back July rent. Because you can't charge a guy for July and say, nyeh, and not let him back in when he wants to use it. You can't have it both ways. His claim against you, pain and suffering on account of what?
I had to live out of my car for no reason.
Well, no, I'm going to tell you the reason. The reason is because you moved out precipitously and didn't have another living situation instead of, seeing it through and then kind of finding a place.
But when I asked to move back in.
That's why you're going to get July back and your security deposit back. Because I find that they breached the contract by not letting you back. She and her mother, not you. You're just the voice of reason, Kimberly, and
right.
That's why you're going to get 700. Your 750 back, and you're going to get your 500 back. But pain and suffering, this is a contracts case, and I find that they breached. Once you asked to get back in and you weren't allowed to get back in, I find that they breached their right to be able to keep the July rent, and I'm also ordering them to return the security deposit. So I'm ruling in your favor in the amount of $1,250. But pain and suffering isn't appropriate in this kind of a case because any pain and suffering that you went through was kind of self-imposed. That's my verdict. Good luck, folks.
So the plaintiff will get his rent and his security deposit back. Janae, what are you thinking about right now?
I'm happy it's over.
You are? Have you learned anything from this whole experience?
No roommates.
No roommates. You're done with it.
Done with roommates.
Okay, well, very good. Probably
Thank
a good
you.
decision. All right, thank you very much. All right, Mr. Salisbury, you think you acted too fast when you moved out of there and had to live in your car?
No, I don't.
You couldn't find another place?
No, I gave them all of my money. I was broke.
You were busted.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, where are you now?
I'm in a new place. I'm back on my feet. I'm doing good. And so, yeah, life's back on track. So I'm happy.
Okay, good. Well, you're going to get your rent money back and your security.
Right.
So that's good.
Yeah.
All right. You learn anything from all of this?
Yeah. Don't have roommates.
Both of you the same thing. All right. Thank you very much.
So look, I mean, Doug, we have talked about this before. If you live with somebody and you are not getting along with that person, be the bigger person. Be the bigger person. Sit down and say, look, it's not working out. Let's figure out an exit strategy. I don't want to be at war anymore.